All right, everybody, welcome to the Late Night All Day podcast with AJ. And as you can see, Jamie is not here today. She had um, some stuff she had to do. Congratulations to her son. She's going to an assembly or something. Her son got an award. I'm not exactly sure what the award, but it's an award nonetheless. And congratulations to him. So today, my special guest, she is an author, a blogger, lover of pancakes, and a sexologist.
Yes.
I give to you Lola Lapon. So how
Hello.
you doing, Lola?
I feel like I want celebration song. um, I'm well, nothing too extravagant going on here. I'm washed now, so my wild is like I did laundry today.
Nonetheless, that's something. That's something. So before we get into it, uh, crazy stuff going on in the news as usual. Jonathan Majors. You know what I really hate about Jonathan Majors. Before I get into it, I defended this. I defended him. There's nothing more I hate than defending somebody and they go and do something, some fuck shit.
I
So
I know that for the sake of this is the most that I'm going to be discussing it because right away I was like I stay out of white woman business the way I wish they would stay out of mine. And so I felt like
hey,
this was a white woman problem and what happened to him as a result of that. Okay. Like,
hey,
you
hey, he lay
know,
with the flower and he lost his power.
that part. So I don't have it for him. I don't have the sympathy. Or not even that I don't have the sympathy. I'm just like that's not my business. So the same way that everybody else kind of looks away when it's a black woman issue is really my sentiment regarding that is that Mm, what okay, what are we having for breakfast? Like I'm really not
What now?
yeah, like I'm not
Right.
invested emotionally, unfortunately for him, I guess.
You know, like I said, the only thing that I was like, damn, bro, I was defending you. When he had that photo shoot and people was calling him gay because he was wearing pink, which is absolutely
Oh yeah,
ridiculous.
that's ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, and you were
You
still
know,
well within your right to defend him with regards to that because it's all about the subject matter and knowing when to quit. So yes, I mean at that point because people were saying that he was gay because he was wearing pink, he should have
ridiculous.
been defended. That's fine. But if you were continuing to defend him blindly, I think that's where the issue comes in when people don't take into account like what the issue is on hand. They just put these people on a pedestal and like let them do whatever it is they want.
Right.
That's crazy.
You
I mean,
know,
I I,
so
I can't say much. I was team Kanye for so I held on. I was on that train for a long. I didn't want to give it up. I really didn't. I mean, but he hurt my feelings like too many
you know,
times.
at this point, I'm like with Kanye. I'm like, I like his music. That's about it. That's as
But you
far as
know
it
what?
goes.
When it comes to stuff like that and the level of his irresponsibility, I don't want to put money in your pockets. I know that like
Mm.
I'm not going to go to your shows anymore because I know that's where the artists really kind of make their money. Um, and if I have your CD, I'll throw it in. Like if I have an opportunity to play it on a CD player rather than you get any change off these streams, cool. Like I would
That's
very
what we
much like
gonna
to do
do.
that. Yeah, I don't want to help. I don't want to fund your delusions because you're not using it to get the mental help you need. So yeah.
I mean, hey, so what's up, Ryan? So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this as a banner so people know. Actually, no, we ain't got to do all that. There we go. Oh no, I don't do that. Okay. Yeah. So as we were saying, Jonathan Majors has been canceled. All of his the things that he had going on, people were like, nope, we firing you. They're gonna have to find somebody else to play
Yeah.
King the Conqueror, which I vote for. Hopefully, I say this name correctly. John Bodega. I think
Oh,
that's
I don't know how
how
to
we
say
said.
his name either, but I love him because he loves black women. So again,
Unapologetically.
that's exactly. So that's one thing. I'm like, oh, if that's who came in to replace the yeah, that's to me,
There
that's
we
some
go.
type of law of physics, no? Like that's some type
Yeah.
of like cosmic black woman karma. I'm here for it. So
Okay. Yeah. Ryan got our correction here. Bodega. Okay.
okay, thank
Okay. All
you.
right.
I sure
Thank you,
did.
Ryan. Yeah. Honestly, he could probably be every part that Jonathan Majors has, we could just probably just go ahead and slide him right in there. He feels,
Yeah,
hey,
he's not.
I'm
He's
all right.
not so committed, or he doesn't lose himself in a role so much where I'm like, man, he really was the person to be in that particular role, and that position was going to give the best feedback. Like, no, no, he's kind of like a Gabrielle Union, like where no matter what movie she's in, you're like, you don't know the character's name. It's Gabrielle Union in that movie.
You're always Gabrielle Union.
Yeah, she just never fully commit. Like, beautiful woman. I don't have nothing against her, but I never lose. I don't think she ever loses herself in the role. I'm always just like, oh, Gab is somebody's sister in this movie. Oh, Gab is some, like,
She's not the greatest actress.
she's not. She's not the worst either. It's not that she's not believable. It's just that there's not a lot of range. It's really just like,
Right.
and I get a lot
This
of
is
flack for
fine.
saying this, and this is going to be a controversial opinion. I know in advance, but like,
Mhm.
I feel the same way kind of about Denzel Washington. Love him,
I've heard that too. He plays Denzel in every role.
but he's
I
Denzel. Like,
guarantee it.
aside, I mean, I'm like, outside of like Malcolm X, where obviously he was fully committed because he had to portray an actual real person. Other than that, I'm like, he's a great actor. He's gonna give you that one glory tear. He can bring you there. Or he can
Right.
give you the King Kong. Like, he can give it to you, but I don't see the range
Yeah, he's
that I
playing the
want.
same guy in every
Yeah,
role.
I like that guy,
Yeah. Right.
but whatever.
He guarantees things in every movie.
Yes, same
That's
thing with
like his gift.
Will Smith, I think. But again, a lot
I
of
mean,
people.
yep. Al Pacino is right. Rye says right here. Al Pacino.
Yes, yes, yes. Al Pacino. Like, I can't imagine him. Like, what, he's gonna play somebody's dad now? Like, okay, are they a mafia family? Like, what's happening? I just don't. Yeah, for
Then
sure.
even when he does like branch out, it's like I'm not really
It's like,
feeling
Pacino, stop. We know. Cut it out.
it.
Like, it's not believable. Yeah.
So I want to mention the young man who was shot when his parents erroneously sent him to the wrong house, which I feel really bad for his parents over that. Like,
I
people make
mean,
mistakes.
they told him the address, and he didn't have his phone on him. And so it was like South 1000, and he just went to 1000. It was like a block over, and he didn't have his
Mhm.
phone with him to double check, which, you know, obviously I'm not going to victim blame or blame his parents. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation all around. To me, all the blame belongs on the person who pulled that trigger for a child standing on your doorway catching bullets.
Right, right.
So,
He can go to hell in every religion
every single one of them. I
and
really
burn continuously.
I've tried to. It's hard. It's hard to go through these events over and over and over and over and know that, like, no real change is going to happen. If I thought talking about it would change gun laws, or that something would happen as a result of my voice, I would be screaming till my throat was raw and I had no more voice. But it's
Yeah,
really hurtful to dig into those emotions and discuss a situation where I'm deeply affected. Like, I can't I can't talk about it and then move on with my day. Like, I love my people, and I'm affected like that's my nephew every time, and that's a lot of loss. And
right,
it's hard to feel helpless because I'm still only one person. What can I do? What can I do that people are out here crazy and, you know, trigger happy? Nothing. I'm not a fan of the feelings that it makes me feel, how frequently it's happening, and that there's really no change occurring as a result. I mean, I could say what I think would change it, but I think, yet again, that would be even more controversial than my other opinions. So maybe I should just be quiet before before they're like,
all right. Well,
don't have her on there no more because everything she said was horrible.
all right. Well, I guess on that note, we're gonna get to the subject at hand. So, I'm a big Disney fan on the most part. I
Oh,
wouldn't say I'm one of those Disney adults, but hey, I'm a
right,
Disney.
right,
And Disney's main focus is happily ever after. That's Disney's like bread and butter.
right.
But they got their villains, they got their heroes. And sometimes the villains are very likable. We can like the villains.
The
They
villains
got
have
charisma.
always been my favorite. So even when I was a little kid, when I was a
So
kid, loved the villains, and I still do. I still do. I love the villains when it comes to comic books. I love the villains in Disney. I love the villains everywhere because I think they're more honest. There's something much more honest about. I think it's a more of an honest depiction of society, right?
right.
When we see the worst parts of that. I mean, we saw that with the pandemic, the way people were hoarding things, and it was like a time when we had an opportunity to come together. Everything that every villain has ever said, anything the Joker had ever said, made so much more sense when everybody became this very selfish person. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, I find them to be more honest and in that way more relatable. Even just them being flawed, the heroes, I think, unless they're like that kind of anti-hero, you're
So
like, yeah,
this
no.
this segues into the first villain I want to talk about because if you look at it from a different way, he's actually the hero of the story. And I'm talking about the villain from The Lion King, Scar. Now I'm gonna explain. Oh, I know. See, I see your face. I see your face. I see your face. Now you're probably wondering why am I saying Scar is the true hero, right?
True hero though.
Let me go. Okay, bear with me on
Woo.
this one. Let me bear with me, everybody. Bear with
I
me.
have to let you speak your piece before I say something. So go ahead.
The Lion King is a propaganda film.
Hmm.
What is it called? The Lion King. So you got Mufasa, who's like, oh yeah, us lions, we rule everything. We rule everything. Simba, don't go over there in that dark area where the darkies live, the hyenas. So what did Mufasa do? He kept the hyenas away from the lions because the hyenas were the scourge of society. But what did Scar want to do? Scar wanted to integrate. He said we can bring lions and hyenas together and we can have unity. But since it's a propaganda film, that unity is vilified. So when you look at Scar's big song "Be Prepared," what are the hyenas doing as they're marching? They're goose stepping. So if the Klan were to tell the story about Martin Luther King, he'd look like a villain. So that's what I got to say about Scar.
Okay. Well, let's take all that, take the context of where the movie is filmed, right, out of it. And I just say, I watched this movie and like this dude, um, yo, he just killed his brother, like threw him, say he threw him out the window and then like set his nephew up to look like he did it, made him think that, and then sent his boys to go kill him. At no point am I gonna be like, yeah, he's actually the hero. First of
See,
all, but that's based on his actions, right? That's not talking about like his intention, right? That's what actually
right?
happened. Okay.
Yeah,
Now, if we're talking about what his intentions were, it wasn't even a wanting to integrate. It wasn't about integration for him. It was about ego and power. He wanted to
yeah.
rule it, and the hyenas he knew would be minions who would follow because he made it seem like it was about integration. And who actually does that? That ain't Martin Luther King behavior right there. Who actually makes it
He
seem,
ended up turning on him.
who makes it seem like there's going to be integration and that things are going to be better, but you still get the short end of the stick because that's actually what happened to black folks. And if you notice, Scar has an English accent because he's a what? Colonizer. So what he
Colonizer.
was really doing, okay, was,
Colonizing.
and then that's why he wanted to make sure he didn't care who didn't have food, who didn't have nothing. He was just like, I'm the king. That's the role I wanted to have. And I was willing to kill everybody to get it. And I don't care if everything fell apart under my rule. I'm not even good at what I do. I'm just here and I wanted to have the title.
He ruined the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. Like by the time even Timon showed up, was like, "We gonna fight your uncle for this? Talk about your fixer upper." Like, yeah, nah, son, we can't. Now, be prepared is the most fire villain song in all of the Disney movies.
That's debatable. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay.
What song bops harder than "Be Prepared"? Nothing.
Shiny.
What?
Shiny from Moana.
Oh no, that's a bop though. That's about
Yeah.
it does not go as hard as Be Prepared. Like even the hyenas are like, we have food, lots of food. Like I go hard. I listen to that on my playlist. It comes on like after Pop Smoke, in between like Pop Smoke and like Nora Jones. I will go full Be Prepared.
You know how Spotify tells you like the song that you listen to the most?
Yes.
In 2020 it was Shiny for me.
Okay.
And
I was
I
listening
just kind of
to
laughed.
listen, I'll be listening to something. It'll be like Lok to Pate will come on right after, and then I'll be listening to. I have very eclectic taste, and I'm not ashamed of my love for Disney songs. And Kanto had a hold on me for a little bit.
Which was this?
And Kanto,
Encanto? Hell
yeah.
yeah. We'll get to that too.
Like how
We'll get to
there
that.
was so Lin Manuel Miranda. If I hope I
So
said his name
good.
right, he should do all the movies from now on because it's just you can tell he has that theater background, and bringing that to these films takes it up a level where he's got it.
He got
Like
it. He got his own little flavor too.
he got it, and I love that for him. So I have to give credit where it's due. Yeah, he definitely has kicked things up a notch when he's involved.
So we gotta go back to Lion King real quick. And there's
Okay.
some problematic favorites I wanna mention. There's one thing about Simba that I'm gonna mention. It's very small.
Hmm.
And he's a kid, probably wasn't thinking, but he's saying, I just can't wait to be king.
Yeah, I know.
And then right after that his dad died. Like, hey, what? Got what you wanted?
That was
There you go. You king, my little nigga. Now you go. You
that
king.
was unintentional manifestation. He didn't know that. He was just excited. But
That was a
again,
monkey paw. It was a monkey paw wish.
yeah.
Like, yeah, you want to be king? Your dad's dead now.
Yeah. So you got to be
Yeah.
careful what you wish for. That was the lesson there. He was given lessons to. That was before Rafiki was slapping fools on the head with a stick and telling them, we were already seeing what was going on. I see that there's comments here, but I don't think I can read them at the same time.
I
I can't.
mean, which one did you want to point out? Because I could just
Okay, let's see.
highlight them.
Oh, hold on.
Couple of them.
Ooh, there we go. No, I just was hoping I could see them at the same time. So we don't talk about Bruno. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? And I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a little girl, but I hadn't seen the part where Scar tells Simba to stay right there before the hyenas come for the stampede. That
Hmm.
part up until he meets Timon and Pumbaa, I would fast forward, smooth through that part because I'm a G, but don't test me because as soon as Simba be like, Dad, Dad, I'm like, hey, yo, like he ain't even have to do that. He could have did something else. It hurts me. So,
So
yeah.
another problematic.
I can't call the guy who made that situation happen a hero. That's impossible for me. Yeah,
It's
Simba
it's
asking Mufasa to get up. That's hurtful. It's hurtful.
so I want to mention another problematic favorite, and that's Timon. So they found Simba, and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong?" He's like, "My dad died." They were like, "You ever tried not giving a fuck about it?" Like, damn, my dad just died. And they were
Well,
like,
he didn't tell him
eat
what it
some bugs and don't
was.
give a fuck.
He didn't say what it was. He just said, he said, I don't want to talk about it. And Timon said, good, because we don't want to hear about it, which is equally rude.
And
Um,
eat these bugs.
yeah,
Shut up and eat these bugs.
yeah. He was like, if you want to live like us, you gotta eat like us. Timon was who Simba needed in that time. In that time, he didn't have a father figure anymore. His uncle was trash and tried to kill him, and he needed somebody to step up. And Timon came through with that mini but mighty meerkat love and
True. Hey,
told him like, this is how we got to get it. You got to get it how you live.
I like Puma more though.
I mean, Pumbaa had a sweet heart. His heart was in the right place.
Yeah. So all right. So since it's gonna be coming out soon and it has a lot of controversy, let's go ahead and talk about it. The Little Mermaid.
Hmm.
Ariel was super problematic. It told little girls a terrible story. It,
Absolutely.
why don't you go ahead and lose your voice, get some legs to spread, and you'll get that man. That's
For
pretty
for
much what it's saying.
for sure.
And being an adult now, you look at her dad like, hey, Triton was right. Triton was right. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
I mean, being a
stay away
kid is
from all these.
agreeing with Ariel, and being an adult is being like, King Triton was not tripping at all. Like, you were
Nah.
super bugging. Like, he eats your family. He was not being unreasonable. Like, he eats fish, bro. Like, stop. um. So
you
yeah,
know,
I agree. But The
you
Lion
know,
King was
Ursula.
my favorite. I mean, The Lion King. The Little Mermaid was my favorite. I'm an '80s baby. And
Mm.
so it came out at that time where I was a little girl. I wanted to be a mermaid already because Madonna's Cherish video had come out and she had mermaids in the video and they had the nerve to be black. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, it was a kid. I later learned it was like a little boy who played the part. He just had a lot of hair. But at the time, I thought it was a
Hey,
little black girl. And I was like, a little
that
black
was
girl
magic.
mermaid. My heart was in it. Like to this day, I have a mermaid tail in my bedroom right now. Like, so that I bring to the pool because I will get my splish splash on if you give me any opportunity. So I love the movie. I love the songs. The songs are amazing. Ursula is second in line to me because Poor Unfortunate Souls is right beneath like Be Prepared for Me. That's in my those two are in my top three as far as villain songs.
Hold on. What's this, Ryan? So humans can hear sea life?
So can humans
What you
hear sea
mean?
life? So can humans hear sea life?
Oh, yeah. You know, there was a hole in that plot. Like,
What's
why
weird
didn't someone
is
kiss the
okay,
girl?
Ariel could understand the animals, land and sea animals, but Eric couldn't, except for during Kiss the Girls, where Sebastian gets in his ear and is like, he tells her her name at one point because he says the wrong name and he's like Ariel, and then he gets it. But other than that,
He was
it
kind of dumb.
yeah, Eric was dumb. I mean, also, I mean, if you think
Himbo.
about it, if he didn't understand what the animals were saying, that had to be a really wild boat ride for him. Like he's just sitting there, and all the
Bro,
turtles are spraying water up, and they're spinning around, and there's like fireflies and crabs are doing all this, and Scuttle's like, oh, like it's crazy.
like, he must have thought, like, oh, this, I gotta stop smoking this shit. Like, something like, like, bro, like, what? At some point, he would have been like, hey, all this stuff is telling me to kiss the girl. Maybe I should.
Right? Yeah.
But no, the ills, like, fucked him up, though.
Oh
They
yeah,
pushed,
flopped him
yeah,
and jets him because
yeah.
Ursula was like, oh, she almost bagged him without a voice. Oh no, we gotta fix that. Like she was the original. I'm not all this shit over. Like
All right, so let's move on to one of my favorites. Wait, do we got everything in Little Mermaid? I'm sorry, I didn't. We
yeah, I mean,
oh,
I do just want to say I do fully concur that the storyline is problematic, despite it being one of my very very favorites. I have total nostalgia watching it. I'm going to continue watching it, and I can't wait to support Hallie.
hell yeah,
Give us that black girl magic. And I hear they're going to make some amendments to the songs so that they're not as problematic, like for Kiss the Girl, because then they're talking about consent, which I think I understand moving things forward. But I feel like what should happen is like they should have a conversation somewhere therein, like
hmm,
beforehand, like where or after, obviously when she can speak, where Eric is like, I knew because somehow he inherently knew or he remembered her or whatever. Because I feel like changing the words to classic songs doesn't ever go over well, and I want the movie to be
never.
really successful. I mean, we all want to sing the song that we want to sing. I don't want to be like, go on and kiss the girl. She says it's okay. Don't do anything. You're gonna get a lawsuit. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't want to do the remix. I'm not interested. I understand why the change is necessary, but I want success for the film. So, and it's
Now,
already being changed too much for the other
hey, they
folks.
they can get they can go ahead and cry about it.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean I'm not gonna lose no sleep over it for sure.
what's up, Camille? So one of my personal favorites because he reminds me of myself, always hoping and wishing and praying. Aladdin. So Aladdin is a problematic favorite, and I'm gonna tell you why. If you
Okay.
go back to the scene when he first seen Ariel, He seen her wearing the crown.
Jasmine.
He seen
She
Jasmine wearing the goddamn crown. Man, his whole plan, that was a coup the whole time.
when he first saw Jasmine, she was wearing a crown.
Yeah, because she was in
No.
the no, she was in the marketplace
Uh
and
huh.
the crown was showing and she covered it up. He saw the crown.
Hmm.
So he was like, let me go ahead and slide up in here. Let me go to slide up in here. I'm,
So
I'm gonna be
you
Sultan.
so you think that Aladdin was the first cartoon hobosexual?
Hey, hey. Yes,
Is
he
that
is.
is that
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
I mean, you know what? I'll give it to him because the man did what was necessary to get the girl. He didn't
Yeah.
just go. He could have been like, "Listen, I see her. She's rich. Let me just slide up in here. I don't got nothing." His insecurity came from not having, but knowing that he desired her and that he could give her the love that she wanted, the sincere love that she was actually after. And so he was like, "Oh, I got a genie. Bet I can be this king. I can have all the stuff. I can give her the lifestyle that she's accustomed to. I'm not gonna call her a gold digger, or whatever. If she only wants to be with somebody who has money, who has status, I'm not gonna try to
But
drag
she
her
didn't
down on
know.
my.
She
But
didn't know.
yeah, but she wasn't allowed to. That was the whole thing. That's why she couldn't marry who she didn't want. She wanted to marry for love, for real. She was arguing with her dad about that. So I feel like for him to be like, okay, I have my insecurities, but I'm gonna do what I think I need to do to get her, and I'm gonna be, consistent. And I mean, a nigga take me on a magic carpet ride and be singing like that to me about a whole new world. The way he put his hand, like, "Do you trust me?" I'd be like, a little bit. So yeah, I don't
I,
know. I kind of agree, but at the same time, I'm like, I like the movie too much to hate on
of course. I mean,
I
it's
know
all
it's
in
not.
fun.
It's not. Yeah.
I take these movies and tear them apart and look at all these little inside parts. Jafar was probably one of the creepiest villains. Like, I don't think anybody likes Jafar. No,
No, he
as a villain,
wasn't.
like nobody likes Jafar.
You know what it is? It was them
Maybe his
long,
outfit.
slender, long, slender fingers. You can't trust nobody who do all this all the time. Yeah, he is
Yeah.
tough. He is. Yeah, you lusting after her, and he was also that was ego driven. He was just, and he had Iago on his shoulder with Gilbert Godfrey, you know the late Gilbert Godfrey. His voice was annoying. Like your whole situation was raggedy.
Just
I was
bad.
not into it.
And the three wishes Aladdin should have made if I was him. I wish your stupid rules didn't exist. I wish for more. I wish for unlimited wishes without you, and then wish them free. There we go.
I mean,
But
yeah,
the
but
movie would
what
have been 15 minutes
I
long
was
at
gonna
that
say,
point.
what does that movie look like? We're still watching Aladdin from when it came out, if that's what the wishes are. So, we got
I
to wrap
mean,
that thing up. Hit him with the wrap it up
right,
button.
right. So let's see. What would be the next movie? You want to throw a
I thought you
movie
was
out
gonna go
there?
into. I thought you was gonna go into Beauty and the Beast.
Let's go into Beauty and the Beast because there's some problems with that movie. Some big problems with that movie.
Yeah,
You
Beauty and
know,
the Beast was.
there's
When I
one
was a
thing that
kid,
I
I really liked Beast, but my thing is, why we call him Beast the whole time? My nigga had a name at some
didn't
point.
ask didn't ask him his name not one time.
Not at no point did we learn the beast's name. Even he became a human, and they was like still like, yeah, the beast. Like, dang,
Because I think his name is Adam actually. I think
really?
this is yeah, and
Who
it's
has
fucked
the
up.
name?
Yeah. So also the timeline is fucked up. So he got turned into the beast, and he was the beast for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
He turns back into a human. He's 21. So you mean to tell me that witch cursed the 10-year-old boy for not letting
Maleficent,
him?
Maleficent cursed the baby because she wasn't invited to the party. So
Hey,
at
hey,
10 years
oh,
old, he had
since
10
we're on
more.
Maleficent,
He had 10 more years than Maleficent gave Sleeping Beauty. She was like, "What? I can't come to the party? Bet. Put your finger on the prick, and then you're gonna go to the long sleep. Okay, forever, ever."
but see, they elaborated on Maleficent's story though.
Yes,
With
where
the
we
movie,
understand where
which
she was coming from. But for
and I was
Sleeping Beauty, that didn't happen for a long time. Okay,
nah,
so
we just was like, oh, I'm not invited to the party. Guess what? She
Say
Okay,
less.
all right.
Wait, wait.
Hey, I've had a petty moment. I got uninvited to a party. If I can tell a story real quick,
Yeah.
I used to hang out with these losers, and we went to a bar. I forgot my card. The bartender knew all of us, so he gave the card to one of the girls. And mind you, we're fucking pissy drunk. And I see the girl at the next place we were at. I'm like, "Hey, Chris said you got my card."
Are you gonna
And she,
name people? You supposed to be like the girl
oh,
at.
that's the bartender.
Oh, okay.
So I go to tap her on her shoulder, and she like moves her arm. I'm like, "Motherfucker, give me my card!" Like I'm loud about it.
Right.
So the guy that was throwing the party seen us like clashing or whatever.
Mm.
So he was like, I don't think it's a good idea for you to come to the party. So I'm like, okay, bet. So the day of the party, I called it a noise complaint, got the party shut down. Y'all having fun? It's done. Everybody go home.
You are. That is petty, 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 petty,
Because,
petty, petty.
because the funny part about it, me and the girl, we were cool.
You got? Did you get your? You got your car back?
Yeah, I got my car back. She wasn't tripping. She was just
So
drunk and too. He just saw that little part where we were yelling at each other.
he might have wanted to smash and was like, "This is my opportunity to be a hero," and you and
Nah,
use you.
nah, it was nothing like that.
It was nothing like that.
All right, so back to Disney. I'm sorry, we got sidetracked with that little goofy ass story. But Gaston? Gaston was ignorant, but he technically didn't do anything wrong. Usual French aristocrats, and
Mm.
also with Gaston, they kind of flipped the hero trope on its end because Beast looks like the bad guy.
Hmm.
He's a beast, and Gaston looks like the hero, but it was actually the other way around.
I was gonna say the Gaston is almost the most honest villain in that he's the like he said, like he's the like those aristocratic men, like, and it's I know a Gaston today. You feel me? Like I know Gaston. Gaston is, these dudes who feel like, oh, I can come through. Yes. Yes. Like
Gaston is such a chode.
yes. Because it's like Gaston is one of them one of them girls. Yeah, that's basically a messy bottom. Okay? Gaston is one of those people who would try to holler at you in the street and then you like, no, thank you, Gaston. And he's like, ugly bitch, you wasn't even cute. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's crying.
He's definitely that guy.
Or he's writing think pieces about how women this and women ain't that. Like Kevin, Gaston was Kevin
With a bunch of
Samuels.
spelling errors.
Yeah, like I know everybody knows the Gaston. So
We
for
know a
real,
Gaston.
that's the real villain right there. And I love that he was attractive. That's kind of the point because when you're you're supposed to be an attractive man, you get away with stuff like that. He was able to
Pretty privileged.
lead the entire town to go after this person who didn't bother nobody despite being a full beast.
What Heather said here, he would
Yes,
definitely told Bell she was low value. he
absolutely.
died. He kind of did.
You read in books?
Yeah, they don't even have pictures.
Yeah.
What kind of shit is this?
Yeah,
You're stupid.
for sure. Yeah, he was like, because if she reads, she'll learn about men that are better than me. Yeah, he likes his women with low self esteem and not a lot of knowledge. So yeah,
Like he,
everybody knows a Gaston, and he's trash, trash.
I do like Gaston's. His song is all right. His songs.
I mean, it goes kind of hard, but as far as
It's good for
villains,
karaoke.
it's okay. I'll give you that. As far as like as villain songs go, because they usually are the best songs. Like if we're talking about Be Prepared, he had them three picnics. Yes. They was up there like, oh, guys stop falling all over themselves. I
Yo,
think the bar is high for villain songs. So for me, it falls short. Like I couldn't tell you
it's
the
in the
words
middle.
right now. What's
It's in the
that?
middle. You
It's
said
in
it's
the
in the middle.
yeah.
It's mid.
It's mid. Yeah. I'm like, I could feel if you had karaoke, it's a vibe. But like, is it on my shuffle? Definitely not.
Oh, LeFou, what's his name? LeFou, the little dude that followed him around. That was
Oh, I
definitely his
forgot about
partner.
him.
He was a man fan supreme.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wanted Bill to be his
His
be his
beard.
beard. For those who don't know what a beard is, it's a woman who pretends to be a homosexual man's partner, so nobody knows that he's gay.
Yes.
Just throw that out there if you didn't know.
That's true. I
But
forget that people don't. That's not a. Yeah.
Belle was also ready to smash Beast without knowing that he was actually a
That's true.
man. She
She
was
was
like
like,
Red Rocket.
"Give me that wolf looking peen." I wonder if the beast was packing though. Like,
Nah, you
I
still
feel like I feel like as the beast he was, and then when he became human, it shrunk like along with all the other like shoulders that came down and everything. His penis just shriveled and was like, like she was like, I guess I'm back to
nobody called
reading
him.
these books.
Nobody called him Prince Adam not one time. Not all his slaves that he had, the candlestick or the, none of
Yeah.
them. Smithers.
What?
What do you mean Smithers? Talking about Disney, not the Simpsons, which we could talk about the Simpsons, but another time.
I don't have a whole lot to contribute about The Simpsons, unfortunately. I'm not a non fan of the show. Like I don't dislike it. I never got into it like that.
They really love their dogs, like really. Yeah, I just saw a story about that one.
So yeah,
Ugh.
she was willing to take that beast peen. I mean,
There's so many. It's so many questions. Rod mentioned it earlier. Like, who was Chip's dad? Like, they were cursed for 10 years, so
right.
they were those items for 10 years. So was Mrs. Pot pregnant, and then she gave birth to Chip? Because Chip couldn't be older than 10.
I think that they froze like they're frozen in time, like because cups don't age, those they're inanimate objects, they don't age. So those people, when they transitioned to those objects, didn't change. They just
But
went
what
back
I'm
to
saying,
the age that they were when the curse happened. Like I think they were cursed at 10 or whatever he was, Chip was, like say 7, and then they becomes a cup. A cup doesn't get older, so then when he comes back to being a human, he's now 7 again.
I don't know. There's a lot of
I mean,
oh,
yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think about the practicality
yeah.
factor.
Back then they didn't really think about that stuff.
Yeah.
They're just, oh, we're just gonna tell this story, and then 10 years later, 20 years later, you got people like us, like, well, but I mean,
Yeah, after we're in this super woke society where we're kind of conditioned now to take things apart and dissect them and understand them and put them under a microscope and see if they fall in line with what is acceptable now. Yeah, of course, under that eye, these things do not hold up. I mean, I look at old cartoons now and everything is wild. Like, I mean, I've been
man,
a I love Bugs Bunny. I love like all the whole
those
Warner
those
Brothers,
cartoons
but
can get fucked.
and like they were wilding. Like, and I look at it now because I used to say like, oh, if I had kids, I probably want them to watch the cartoons that I grew up watching along with whatever they're watching. I'm like Pepe Le Pew is wild, bro. Like he he's a full rapist. Like it's really not okay. Like sis was like saying like no no, and he was like
And
oh, he did everything but like
horrible.
le coochie. Like he was on it. Like he that was the funniest part about Pepe Le Pew. He would just say anything and be like, oh, Le Pew. Like what?
I,
He
I, I
would put a
got
le in front of
I,
anything.
I got to mention what Rye said here. So the Warner Brothers cartoons, they age like milk in the sun, which is true. But the audacity makes it hilarious to me. Like, what? And people are like, oh, they were racist cartoons, what they were. They kind of made fun of everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
It was to be fair, it was across the board. Like people was getting shot in the face, whether it was duck or rabbit season, anybody could get it. Like it definitely yeah, they I don't think there well, I shouldn't say I don't think there was favoritism because if I look back at some of those cartoons, there were a lot of racial undertones, especially the ones that go over war and stuff. I think they were
right.
reflective of the times and maybe that was their way of trying to prepare the kids for the environment they thought that they were going to inherit because it looked wild. People were racist. People were going to war. I mean, I think right now we're soft, so our cartoons are soft too.
All right. So this next villain is probably the worst human villain out of everybody. And that's the villain from Hunchback of Notre Dame, Frollo. Frollo. Frollo is the original incel. He really saw old girl and was like, "Oh, she's turning me on. She either got to be with me, or she got to die." He really had a hellfire. He was really like, "Be with me or burn in hell, bitch." That's pretty much what he said.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never seen the movie. Like, never.
Whoo! Hey, go watch it. Frollo is just
But
the
that
absolute worst.
sounds awful. Yes, like
He's
even here.
terrible.
But guess what? Is like we said on Gaston.
Frollo was a red pillar. Yes.
I I watch a lot of the ID channel. Okay, a lot
Uh
of these men. If you tell them no, you're dead. So
that's I hate that shit. Take your L and walk away.
yeah, a lot of guys definitely like will come up to you and like I don't even lie about I'll give you my real number and then I'm just gonna block you when I walk away because you'll call me and my phone needs to ring or you can shoot me. Like girl that I grew up with from my hometown, dude grabbed her butt and she swatted his hand away and he shot her in the face and killed her.
I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, like so to me, like like when you have something like that happen to somebody you know, you're like, oh no, like this, it takes away that whole it couldn't happen to me situation. You know, it really kind of shakes you up. And I've seen it happen numerous times, and I've been, harassed and I was a B cup when I was 8 years old. These titties been around, okay, and I have had to swat and get my Rafiki like, you know, um, on to make sure that grown men who I still look like a child. I was busty, but I still had a child's body still, the rest of it. And I had to fight them. So yeah, yeah, I know. She said get a Google number. I have a Google number, but I was using that for business and I don't Google at when I this is forever ago. I tried to have like two Google numbers and it didn't work. So I had the Google number for work. But yeah, I'll just give you my real number and block it after I walk away. That's so simple. That way I know that if I put you, because after that, if I run into you again, because I don't remember people for nothing. If I run into you again, I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, that right here, that's you. Got you.
This I know we're getting off topic, but I want to talk about this topic because it's important. You know, I mentioned a while ago that all the problems that men complain about women are ultimately men's fault. Like men created these problems.
Mm-hmm.
And this problem right here is something that men created. You know, guys get mad at girls ghosting them. Women wouldn't ghost you if you could take rejection.
Right.
If you could just take, hey, I don't like you, I don't want to talk to you, it'd be fine. People wouldn't be, having
But
to go through these.
I've long since said that the your biggest frustration with the opposite sex is more often than not a result of your gender's issues. So my problems with men, where I feel like if I have a certain standard for myself, but you know that there's going to be a bunch of pick me's who are going to suck your balls even if you ain't wash them. Why are you going to be mad at me when you're going to have issue with me when I'm like, yeah, I would like to go out somewhere. You can be like, why do I have to take you anywhere when this one, that one, this one, I can just go around and spark her up or Netflix and chill or whatever, and that's it. Like, girl,
Invite you.
even if you take the baseline at, you don't even take like relationships, even sex workers. If girls are selling pictures of a whole just bust wide open for 48 cents, how I'm gonna make $100 anymore? Yeah, like y'all mess the game up. It's like when girls start sleeping with custies in the strip club. Like whatever you doing, as long as you got a woman who will underline that for herself, then guess what? The expectations go
messing,
out the window,
messing up the game.
messing up the game. And you're right. It's this the inverse is true with men. If you can't take rejection, and y'all get violent, and that's to me that's also the difference. Like for us it's just like, oh, okay, then I'm gonna just have to be by myself. But with y'all it's like, yeah, we'll die. Like a lot of the things end up with, but you'll die. Like, and that's the scary part, because if you ask most guys about like what it is that their worst case scenario if they link with a girl from a dating app, they'll be like, oh, she turned out to be fatter or not as pretty as her pictures portray, right? But you still go home. Like women, we go out on a date. It's like I gotta tell my bestie, where I'm going. I gotta share my location. I gotta,
Take take
um,
pictures of his
I
license
take pictures,
plate.
exactly. Take pictures of the license plate. I gotta have like send pictures of him ahead of time. All that, like, and then they still check in with me, like text me like a couple, like 30 minutes in, like, what's up? We got code words, all that, like everything that we got to do to ensure our safety. And it's like, y'all, that's why I hate when guys will throw a vice versa into any situation. Like, it's really not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Like, there definitely are issues on both sides. But I
Yep.
think that the fact that they so quick to reverse every situation, they never really take accountability because they never really listening to what the real issue is. It's like you just waiting to be like, oh, but women too. And I'm like, we can talk about that. We can talk about that whenever you want, but not as a response to the issue that I'm bringing to the table right now, which is like about my life. And you're talking about how like she was fat.
Yeah. Like what about ism? What about ism as a way to derail people
Yeah,
from talking about what they want to talk about?
absolutely. Absolutely.
All
It's
right.
it's because that's why some guy, and it was a guy that I know who I know is like a rational mind, right? And he's like, "Yo, women say a lot of stuff about us." He was like, "But men," a woman said, "Men are white people," and she was like, "He's like, wait a minute, wait a minute." But in a sense, I understood what she meant in that moment of being like, when you say Black Lives Matter, and then they say all lives matter or blue lives matter, it's like
Mm.
countering that point is why, and you know how you feel disrespected in that moment, so why would you do it to women? Like, why would you do that to us? We're coming to you with a real issue about a life or death situation, and you're like, yeah, girls all only want my money. And it's like, that's the same to you. It's not the same. Like, yes,
Not
there are
the same.
women who are, and so many men are like, they're mad about women wanting money that they don't even have. I'm like, nobody's gonna get your money because you're broke, sir. You're broke.
Rich
and
men don't complain about
And
gold diggers.
rich men do not care. Rich men are like, oh yeah, I got it. Like, it's nothing. Not in a it ain't tricking if you got it type of way, but they just understand the art, whatever it is that allow them to pursue the lifestyle that they lead, to have that amount of money. Along the way, they also learned, you know, how to court a woman the same way that they would court a prospect for their business or whatever. Those transferable skills have worked out, and they understand that to do to do what needs to be done, um to have a woman and to make her happy. And they make good points where it's like, yeah, if I want my woman to be happy and we can afford to have a maid, why I'm gonna make her cook and clean
That's
if
the
we can
goal.
have. It's like, yeah, like, why do you want her to be? And I think a lot of times, I think everybody should be in therapy, so this is not me throwing stones, but I'm in therapy, you know
Mm.
but I feel like a lot of that is unhealed trauma with men from their dad, absent fathers, and seeing their moms get it out the mud. So they feel like, yeah, if my mom could do it, she could do it. And instead of looking at that as the bar for which a woman should be able to endure, you should say, I don't want my woman to have to endure that same way, rather than she is able, because it can be done. And
Like
instead of, it's like you're clowning women for being in the situation that your mom's was in. That's
I
wild
like
to
what
me.
Camille said right there.
Broke dudes complain on rich man's behalf.
It's a common occurrence, especially in the black community, for a man to call his woman the queen. That's my
Yeah.
queen. Okay, I don't know not one queen that is cooking and cleaning.
Okay. They will go into detail. And she was on her hands and knees. Did you ask Miss Barbara if she ever
Man,
wanted to do that? Did you ask Miss Gladys if she wanted to be cleaning somebody else's house? Did you ask your mama or your grandmama if they wanted to be doing half of the stuff and that's where the disconnect is. Women, we've talked to our elders and they've been like, don't let them do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't accept this,
mhm.
don't accept that, because a lot of them weren't in a position to do what they wanted to do. They're like, yeah, my grandmama did it. Your grandmama couldn't have a bank account without your grandfather, so she was stuck. And your grandmother told her granddaughter, don't let that happen to you because you have options. So you want this to be, your grandfather's generation, and your grandma was tight seeing her husband's face and other people's children. She was mad about having to work all those other jobs. She was mad about all that other stuff. She told the
Right.
other women in her family, and I think that's important to have those conversations. And I think it's important to have them with both genders. Like I talked to my grandfather about stuff too. I mean, and not everybody has that. I was fortunate to have all four of my grandparents well into my 30s. So I got to know them personally on my own. And I know that that's not necessarily common, but I do believe that you should be speaking to elders in your community because they have a lot to offer, a lot of insight, a lot of wisdom, and you won't walk around saying dumb shit. You know, because you'll be like, it's coming from a place of actual, people knowing, people who were there, people who understand the difference between, the community. You gotta, it's insane. Like
Right.
people are talking about stuff from not a place of knowledge. It's like, yeah, you have an opinion, but yes, everybody has an opinion, but your opinion should be rooted in something. And if it's not factual, if you're saying something that's just not true, why just because that's your opinion doesn't like I just don't understand that whole stance that people have. Like people will look you dead in the face and be like, that's like walking up to me and be like, you're a white woman. That's my opinion. I'd be like, okay,
Shove your
okay.
opinion up
You recognize that
your ass.
facts say otherwise, my guy. Like, it's like so I don't let myself get too riled up anymore because people are goofy, is what I've learned. People are goofy. That's the that's the message.
All right, so since we mentioned Goofy, we're gonna reel it back into Disney, and I
Okay.
want to talk about possibly one of my favorite movies all time. Not a Disney movie all
Okay.
time, and that's Zootopia.
Never
I,
seen it.
I, oh, you gotta
I
see
I
Zootopia.
know. I'm like, I did agree to
Zootopia.
come on the show to talk about Disney stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, I ain't see that.
Okay,
You know what? There
so
was a gap from the time that I was a kid, and then when my nieces and nephews came around. So there's a huge gap for me where I was like, yeah, I didn't watch a lot of stuff, and I should have.
Zootopia. Ah, all right, we just got to talk about this. I mentioned it. So Zootopia is roughly based on the crack epidemic of the 80s.
Wait a minute. Before you say this, before you go all the way into your little dissertation, you started off saying before about the Lion King that Scar was the hero, right? So
Could
me,
be
I'm
considered the
taking
hero.
the what?
Could be considered the hero.
Could be considered the hero. And so for me, I'm gonna take what you say about this with a grain of salt because I'm gonna be like, I don't
Oh no
know.
no 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 no
I don't know
no
if I can
no.
trust
Hey, other
Ajay.
people. Hey, Bridget to tell you.
I need
Hey,
somebody else to co-sign. Let me look.
Bridget to co-sign on that one. Bridget to co-sign me on with that one.
Well, she said it was
So
amazing, but did she say that she agrees with you? I'm gonna let you rock.
Zoot-
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted. So go ahead and say what you're gonna say about it, and I'll see what people if people concur or not.
so basically, the Zootopia, it's about the animals. It's just mammals, I believe.
Okay. Oh, she
Just
co-signed.
mammals. So yeah. See,
Okay.
so
Okay.
you have the animals that are prey, animals that are predators.
Mhm.
The animals that are predators are like black people. This this drug got introduced called nightshade, I think it was called, and it was turning the predators feral, so they were attacking the prey. So
Mhm.
then it started a divide between the prey and the predators. So yeah, it's
Isn't
I
there
was
already a divide between prey and predators? I would think so.
everybody was living in harmony in the movie.
To me, I mean, that feels very like not like if the distinct things are predator and prey, I'm not gonna be cool with you unless while you trying to eat me unless you're a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Depending on what's going on.
depending on the vibe. But I mean, like, you can't just be like you gonna murder like you would murder me and my mama. Like, no, man. At
it's
no point
I
can we can't live in harmony like that. I mean, I get what Mufasa was talking about. He was like, yes, we eat the antelope, but the antelope eat the grass. That's the circle of life. Like, they get their lick back. There was a circle. That's yeah. But if are you the predator and I'm the prey, we not cool. That's the ops. You kidding me? Nah, that's
I
not
don't
gonna work.
they had a workaround in the movie, I believe.
Mm-mm.
But I
Ain't
think all
Yeah,
there
ain't
was
enough work around for me to be like, you would kill me at any that actually I shouldn't even say that because that's what it is with life as a woman, talking about how men will just murder you for no reason. Yeah,
Right.
you gotta kind of live like that. You gotta
I
have a workaround.
I highly suggest that movie. It's fucking brilliant. It's a brilliant movie.
I'm gonna check it
It's
out.
wonderful.
I guess you said it's Disney.
It's Disney. It's on Disney Plus.
You know what? I just got rid of Disney Plus. Dang. Because I was like,
I'll
I
throw
need
you.
to stop.
I'll throw you mine.
Thank you. And then I'm
All
gonna
right.
watch
So
Zootopia.
all right. All right. So we can't really talk about Zootopia too much. Maybe I should have put a spoiler alert. I don't know. People have seen these movies. I don't know. We did mention Encanto.
Yes.
So Encanto was a different type of movie because there was no outright villain.
Her
Like
grandmother
like
was the villain. Okay, tell me that if Maribel didn't have the spirit that she had, tell me the way she was dogging her out was terrible, making her
she
feel
was a
awful
super
the whole time.
gaslighter.
Yeah, and that's the worst type of villain. Like because she didn't overtly do it, it's the
Right.
subtlety of like really doing it, and what she did to Bruno too. Because like everything, I get that was a fear response, and so like from a human standpoint, I get it, but that's absolutely villain behavior. If that was just like it's real life, if somebody in your life, whether it was a fear response or not, what they did was unforgivable. It's unforgivable though. That's
Yeah,
it.
true.
Like because a lot of people would say like that could be a racial issue. You're talking about like, oh yeah, they're scared of us because we look like predators and they've been groomed to believe that we're predators. That doesn't justify, them vilifying us. So I get it. Like you were scared, you thought the magic was what was keeping everything together. You left your country, you lost your man. Cool, sis. But nah, you ain't have to do her like that.
You gotta work that out.
Yeah, like she needed to go to therapy. Everybody gotta go to therapy. Everybody.
Which I mean, at the end, they worked it out at the end, which
Yeah, but
Disney
her daughter
bastards.
had to bring her. Basically, her granddaughter had to overlook that and be like, okay, let me bring the family together. Like my love for my family is bigger than that, and it's only because she took the high road. Because if she would have been well within her right to be like, oh, the house is cracking, you're weak now, your flowers is a cactus, like who cares? I'm out. Like, and just, and be like, I'm out because y'all did me dirty the whole time. Me and Uncle Bruno, we out. And they could have done something else. And I wouldn't have been mad. I mean, that's because I got the petty within me, but I'm glad she did what she did. And it turned out all right.
So all right, let's see. I'm gonna throw out two movies. Let's go Tarzan
Never seen it.
and never seen it. Okay, there was slight commentary in that, but we can bypass that one. It wasn't that popular anyway. Princess and the Frog.
That's the one with Tiana?
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw it once and I was not like, I was
blown
like,
away by it.
yeah, I felt really, actually, not just that, I was really underwhelmed by it. I was happy to see a princess. She was black. It wasn't unambiguously black, like she was brown. I was like, yeah. And then it was like, oh, so she's a frog most of
Six,
the time. And the
80%
white
of the
girl,
damn movie.
had like, she already, was real royalty already. Like that was her homegirl. And then it was like, oh, but that's where it stops for Tarzan.
Yeah. So yeah, Rod said here, I give Phil Collins his props, but that's where it stops with Tarzan.
Yeah.
I just got to mention my small little thing about Tarzan with
Mm-hmm.
masculinity with Tarzan. So Tarzan had a negative portrayal of masculinity with the bad guy, Clayton,
Mm-hmm.
and a positive with Tarzan. Tarzan was a very good display of positive masculinity, in my opinion. But the bad guy was terrible. And he had the funniest death of anybody in Disney. I don't know if you guys remember how he died, but it was hilarious. To me, I laughed in the theater.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I don't know.
He was caught in the vines. He's like still trying to like kill Tarzan or whatever with his machete. And Tarzan's trying to stop him. But he's just going on. But he didn't realize that he had a vine wrapped around his neck. So he cut all the vines except for the one around his neck and hung himself. And I was like, sorry
I
about
feel
your
like
damn luck.
that's a great metaphor for a lot of times that people are so caught up in trying to like kill somebody else or chase somebody else or be a predator and like prey upon someone else, and then you end up hanging yourself. So I like
Toxic
that.
masculinity.
Yes, it'll do it every time. I have two things about Tarzan, even though I didn't watch the movie. One, if dude was in the woods that whole time, how come he's so smooth? He should look more like the Beast. They got
True.
razors in the vine. Like, I don't understand. The other thing is, I've seen this meme a bunch of times where it's like he's swinging from the vine, and then he got something in one hand, something in the other hand. It's like it's clear that he's holding the vine with his butt cheeks.
He
And
gotta
I'm
be.
yeah, and I'm like, why didn't he show the view from the back?
Tarzan's not one that people talk about too much. The Disney
Yeah,
Renaissance, was that part of the Disney Renaissance? I believe it was.
don't give me the
Yeah, that was
money.
like towards the end, and people kind of stopped caring for a little bit about Disney.
Yeah, it had an ebb and a flow. I feel like it's kind of like when people switch out the writers for something. You're like, okay, that wasn't a hit. That wasn't it.
Right.
I think people were breaking off and doing Pixar and making other kinds of stuff. The good ones were like, we gonna jump ship and go over here. It's probably what happened.
All right. So I'm gonna throw it to the comments.
Okay.
We're gonna do one last movie and talk about one last movie. So somebody throw a movie out there for us, and hopefully we've both seen it. Nah, fuck that. We're gonna do one in the comments, but I'm gonna talk about one movie that was early on and it pissed me off when I watched it over, and that's Dumbo. Dumbo
Oh,
pissed
I
me
haven't
off.
seen Dumbo
Disney.
since I was a
Oh
little
my
kid.
god. Oh my god. Those late the okay. So Dumbo. They were picked like these like older elephant, like grown ass elephants picking on this fucking baby, talking shit about him, and then his mom flipped out and like tried to beat him up, so they like put her away,
Eat him
and they're
up.
still yeah, like the mom flipped out on the women that were like making fun of Dumbo,
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like
and
they
then
beat
like
him up. Okay, got it.
yeah, and then like the handlers like took the mom away, and then they were still making fun of fucking like I was like, they what the hell? These people are mean. But I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I just it just I don't know what clicked in my head.
The
It just
Dumbo
reminded
is
me,
really, really old. So if we're talking about like,
yeah,
yeah, what is that?
40s,
Exactly. So it was
or
like
yeah.
I expect no sympathy. Like they were like, we went to war. This is what you get. An elephant with big ears.
All
Like,
right, so Camille's throwing out 101 Dalmatians. Cruella Deville. she she had one of my favorite low key scenes when she was driving on the freeway. She's driving all crazy. That's what I always think that when I'm driving when I'm doing Uber. That's how I drive with people in my car.
wow.
Hey,
Um,
I ain't got no complaints.
I I mean, I haven't seen 101 Dalmatians in a long time, but all I remember is it was like, so what? She was a dog breeder, and like she just wanted to rock the coats. Like, as some Peter's gonna come for me, but I like fur,
Oh
so
no.
I mean, I love dogs. I wouldn't say kill the dogs, but like I absolutely held. I had a my classroom had a chinchilla named Vanilla the chinchilla, and whenever I would like clean out the cage, I'm like, you would make some great earmuffs,
No,
like
not the chinchilla.
Chinchilla's a wild soft. I would love a chinchilla coat, and whoever feels however about it, y'all just gonna have to feel however about it. So if she was just trying to be fly,
That's pretty much what she was doing. She was like really into fashion, and she seen the Dalmatian. She was like, "Oh, that would make a great coat.
I'm not
I'ma
mad at
steal
it.
them
Like
dogs."
somebody
But she
had to
was
do
like,
the same thing about like minks and
"But
everything
that was
else. That
somebody's pets, though."
they had to, if you have 101 of them, a
They
couple of them could
mine.
be a coat.
They
You
had
can't
99
defeat
puppies
a
and the two adults.
exact. So you had too many. You didn't listen. Bob Barker told us to spay and neuter our pets. If you didn't do that, and Cruella Deville was like, "That's a fly coat," I'm gonna let her rock.
Not the puppies though.
I mean, I love puppies.
I
In
can't rock with
real
that.
life, of course, I could never support someone killing puppies. But we only don't support people killing animals that are cute or things that we can domesticate. Because if she was out here clubbing walruses, there would be no movie. Nobody would care.
Rise out here.
Yes, with that old timey racism. Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't.
Peter Pan was so bad with it.
Peter Pan, I relate to Tinkerbell because sis was gonna die if she didn't get enough attention. And as a
I
dramatic
also really
attention whore, I will fall out like,
I relate to
yeah,
Tinkerbell
get
also.
me.
Don't nobody ever repeat that to me either.
That what? You
I said
relate to?
I relate to Tinkerbell too, and nobody better not ever repeat that to me.
That's okay. Listen, I'm not even gonna hold it against you. If I'm like, yeah, you relate, so you understand, you get me. We see each
I
other.
get it. Yeah.
I don't think it's a negative. I don't think it is. I'm gonna go on record as saying that.
Peter Pan was pretty toxic also.
You
Peter Pan was a shitty little boy.
you know, there's a theory that all those kids are dead and that he like Neverland is heaven and like he's taking them there like where they don't grow up anymore. And I'm like,
Right.
that doesn't seem too far fetched. Like there's a lot of theories, but I'm like, they did call it Neverland. It was like you ain't never growing up. Like so again, I think that was one of those things that was like preparing kids for whatever year that was in the movie came and they were like, oh, y'all got polio? Neverland till you go. Like I'm just saying.
All right. So on that note, I think we're gonna wrap it up. We hit about hour, so I don't want to go over that. We try to,
Okay.
keep it conservative in the time way, not the political way. Those people can go ahead.
Clearly.
So
That ship
Miss
sank
Lola,
a long time ago.
so Miss Lola, does you want to plug anything or have Instagram or anything's websites that you want to plug?
My Instagram is flick_by_Lola. That's the one that I'm the most active on.
All right.
And I'm working on a new business right now called Sybarite Flights. Sybarite is basically a synonym for hedonist. So it's just about being indulgent and doing so globally. So I'm just going around the world interviewing sex workers and
Okay.
people who indulge, and because I feel like that's the oldest art of indulgence, and also just decadence and having black soft girl era, and that's on the come up. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. I mean, I paint with my titties on OnlyFans,
Hey.
um under the name Titcasso, so I should plug that too.
Picasso.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
Angela Jolie and Brad Pitt get to work with paint, and I make paint under the name Picasso. So check that out.
So
Picasso.
yeah, go ahead and check her out on all her socials, OnlyFans. Me, I am, where is it? Alonzo Jules
You're
everywhere.
right there, Alonzo Jules.
Alonzo Jules everywhere. So for Miss Lola, I am AJ Grant. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Bye.